And I'm currently giving the floor to Esther Salamanca from New Humanity. Please, the floor is yours.
Mr. Special Rapporteur, thank you for giving me the floor. Excellencies, dear colleagues, I'm Associate Professor of Public International Law at the University of Valladolid in Spain. I speak in the name of New Humanity, an international NGO with general consultative status. In our comments to the call for inputs, we confirm our support for the mandate of the Special Rapporteur on the negative impact of unilateral coercive measures on the enjoyment of human rights. International law has evolved in the last decades from an interstate approach to a person-centered approach. However, many topics remain in the middle of that process. That is the case of the impact of multilateral or unilateral sanctions on the target state's population. Sanctions regimes have divided the international community for decades and has worsened in the recent years, as we can see in the lack of consensus among members of the Human Rights Council and the General Assembly. Despite the efforts to make the management of sanctions more clear, consistent, and transparent, and to improve humanitarian exceptions, the reality is that the humanitarian actors on the ground report the operational complicities in the delivery of humanitarian assistance, as the rapporteur relates in her report on the visit to Syria. We welcome the publication of the commentary of the guiding principles. It's an extensive, systematic, and coherent document. In our view, this document needs a study in deep from the point of view of international law. So we appreciate the whole of this international conference, and we have taken note of the deliberations, especially the clarification of legal concepts and terms, which is very much needed. We will make some preliminary comments on the draft guiding principles. First, we suggest completing the reference to Article 1 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights with the duty of fraternity, and therefore to include the principle of solidarity in the list of general principles after the principle of humanity, as it has been defined in Article 1 of the revised draft Declaration on the Right to International Solidarity. Indeed, Article 9, paragraph 1F of the revised draft declaration refers to avoid the deployment of unilateral coercive measures that are inappropriately or too broadly targeted, or which contribute to the exacerbation of human rights violation in affected states. I would like to know the opinion of the independent expert on international solidarity at this respect, who is here. Second, we fully support the implementation of the humanitarian precautionary principle in this context and the launch of the monitoring and impact assessment tool. This is a very important development of the mandate, and we want to congratulate the Special Rapporteur for that. I have a question on this regard. How do you expect this tool to be used? Third, we observe that the principle of due diligence appears in the guidelines as a principle of business, but this principle has a broader content, as is mentioned along the commentary. So I wonder why it's not included as a principle for states and international organizations too. And finally, in the hope that these guidelines will achieve their objective, I also wonder if it would be appropriate to add a clause underlying that the implementation of the guiding principles do not remove responsibility of states or the person or group of persons against whom legal coercive measures are adopted, as they are strictly humanitarian in nature. Thank you very much.